and Israel conflict escalates, the focus has shifted from airstrikes to nuclear fears and from diplomacy to warships. The G7 leaders right now have issued a rare and a unified statement. The message is absolutely clear, and that's the breaking news input that's coming in. The message from the G7 to Iran is that it must never have a nuclear weapon, and that is the latest breaking news update that we are tracking. The G7 statement has come in, and the message to Iran is absolutely clear that Iran should never have a nuclear weapon. The G7 has backed Israel's right to self-defense but has called for civilian protection and an immediate de-escalation. The summit has also committed to safeguarding global energy markets from the shock of the conflict. So after initial reluctance, Donald Trump signed the statement before leaving the summit early. So that's the latest. We are breaking down what the G7 joint statement has said. In its statement, G7 leaders have made it absolutely clear that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, and that, remember, has been the starting point of the entire escalation in the Middle East. Israel too has said that it is going after Iran, and the strikes that it is conducting is because Iran is a threat to the entire region, and Iran is actively developing its nuclear facilities. So Iran now the G7 statement says that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons and that Israel has the right to defend itself. My colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary is with us. Srinjoy, the message from the G7 is clear, and it's also giving us a sense of where world leaders stand amid the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The latest as we track the airstrikes and the escalation is the fear of, nuclear fears are now looming large. What do you make of the latest statement that's coming in from the G7?
The G7 is making it very clear that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. Now, how do you get to a nuclear weapon? You have U-35, 235, which you enrich to 80%, and then you build the bomb. Now, if America and the other 6 countries are saying that, look, we can't allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, it means that Iran cannot have a nuclear program. Iran cannot enrich the uranium it has to 80%. Now, if the world generally agrees, this is also roughly speaking Israel's position, then Iran has to be persuaded. Because if Iran is not persuaded, then Iran will eventually, this will delay, this entire military action will delay it by 2 or 3 years. Eventually, when Iran does have that nuclear weapon, then what is Iran going to do? That's also something we have to look at.
And Srinjoy, who do you think can persuade Iran? Because like we've been telling our viewers, the G7's message is absolutely clear that Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. But how do you analyze it? Does this statement change anything on the ground, or, is this just diplomatic posturing?
First of all, if there is one country that can actually persuade Iran, it's the country that buys a lot of its drones. And perhaps there has also been a history of discussion about the nuclear program. That is Russia. So it's all going to be very complicated. But if this actually happens, then it would end the war. The near war, which is going on for about 3 days, it has cost a lot of lives. It has done a lot of damage in both countries. And it is not just hurting West Asia, not just hurting Israel and Iran, it is hurting the world.
Now, Srinjoy, taking off from what you're saying, there was a 50-minute phone call between US President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Now, what further development can be expected? In the latest, the UN nuke watchdog, the IAEA, has also said that there are no radiation leaks yet, but it is warning of chemical and radiological risks. How real is the danger of a radiological incident now?
That is the thing. If you're going to bomb an enrichment plant, then there is bound to be a radiation leak. And if there is a radiation leak, Europe has faced these things before. Europe knows what Chernobyl was like. Now, Chernobyl is not far from where Natanz is. If you actually look at the map, you'll see that, that Iran and Ukraine are reasonably close to each other.
Right.
So if that is so, then if there is a radiation leak, all of Europe will suffer as a result of it, as will neighboring countries, maybe even northern India.
Absolutely. I want you to stay with us because there is more breaking news that's also coming in.